The views and opinions expressed by hosts and guests on Patriots with Grit do not necessarily reflect those of Patriots with Grit LLC, its founders, and owners.
Get ready for truth bombs and guidance from conservative leaders and entrepreneurs from God-fearing, freedom-loving, truth-telling, patriotic Americans. Welcome to Patriots with Grit. Now let's jump into today's episode with your host, Darren Ross.
Is it possible that we could have a Pearl Harbor 2.0 type attack on the West Coast?
It's very possible, and the media is not even telling us about it.
But our guest today has some inside knowledge and intel. He's going to tell us all about it. Here we go.
If you don't know by now, major cell phone carriers are monitoring your conversations and your text. They're even terminating service if they don't like what you say. Americans have had enough supporting these companies that hate our values. Are you tired of compromise? It's time to switch to Patriot Mobile, America's only Christian conservative wireless provider.
Patriot Mobile offers dependable nationwide coverage, giving you access to all three major networks, which means you get the same coverage you've been accustomed to without funding the left or the leftist agenda.
When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you support the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the sanctity of life, and our military, veterans, and first responder heroes.
One of the best parts about using Patriot Mobile is they have 100% of their customer service team based right here in the USA, which makes switching absolutely a breeze. You can keep your number, you can keep your phone, or you can even upgrade. Plus, their team will help you find the best plan for your needs. Just go to patriotmobile.com/grit or call 972-PATRIOT. Also, you get free activation when you use the offer code of GRIT. Join us and make the switch today. Well, it's always a pleasure to have you back on our show. John Mills, welcome back to Patriots with Grit, my friend.
Hey, Darren and Randy, thank you so much.
Well, we appreciate you coming on. Hey, we're kind of doing a short notice show here because on your Substack, you had made mention that Edward Air Force Base could possibly be maybe another Pearl Harbor, could be a target for China, maybe in a cyber attack or even kinetic. I want you to kind of tell us more about it because we're not seeing any of that. All we're hearing about is Israel and Iran. So tell us what we're missing.
Well, I think that's the problem. There's so much noise out there that a lot of people are missing the signal. So General Doug Weichert is the commander of Edwards Air Force Base, and he had a town hall where he invited in members of the community. It was, open to press and everything. And he was just pretty honest and frank that we need to be prepared for Chinese strikes right into the mainland. Edwards Air Force Base is out in the middle of California. There's two other important facilities very close by. It's Palmdale Plant 42. That's where we had been making the B-2 bombers, and that's where the B-21 bomber is now under production out there. So that's close by. And then you have the essentially the airfield for General Atomics, where General Atomics builds and flies a lot of their drones before delivery. So three important strategic targets right close by. And so for General Weichert to have this, he talked very frank, and it was out there, and it went right over everybody's head. I mean, you have an Air Force general saying, my base inside the United States may be attacked. That's pretty important, and got scant notice and attention.
So is that based on just location and I guess just location as opposed to intel that, could be a target? Is there a little more to it than that?
Well, I think there's a lot more going on. In the 2023 National Defense Authorization Act, it was called Section 1088. And it required the Department of Defense to run a series of tabletop exercises on the what if to domestic bases and infrastructure in case of Chinese attack on Taiwan. So that tabletop exercise, and I am a little bit associated with that, not in current times, but I was a little bit associated with that, was a big deal, and it was run at very highly classified levels. The bottom line, and it was just revealed that in December of 2024, before the Biden team left, they had a secret meeting in Geneva with China. Why? Because they wanted to challenge China. Why are you doing all these cyber attacks on American critical infrastructure? Power, water, maybe air traffic control. Have we had a number of accidents recently that were unexpected? And China said in Geneva, yeah, Salt Typhoon, Volt Typhoon is us, and we are attacking. So we're under attack right now through cyber. General Weichert, in that article, it also said he had actually run exercises for the resilience of Edwards Air Force Base for cyber attacks. But he was just going a little further and saying, guess what? In addition to cyber, we can expect Chinese missiles to land on this base. So it's ongoing, and all the data points are out there. Everybody's just too busy, too distracted by this or that. And Iran, and now everybody's focused on Iran and on the mega side of the house. Supposedly, I think a lot of this is played up by Russian and Chinese bots on the internet and social media, which there is a ton of bots. It's something like, a lot of, like, I've seen numbers as high as 70% of social media is actually bots. And China and Russia are very good at this, stoking hate and discontent on the mega side. But there's the mega debate. We have this was totally stay out of everything. And then there's some who maybe on the hawkish side of mega, or may not even be mega, who are saying, oh, we should absolutely be supporting Israel. But Iran is related. Why? Because almost 100% of the exports of gas and oil from Iran go to China.
So with that said, why would China want to strike Edward Air Force Base, or even strike us at all? Is it because maybe our peripheral involvement with Iran, or what, protecting their interests there?
It's Taiwan.
Is it? Okay.
When they make their move, they know they're going to have to. And I've been saying this for several years. When they make their move on Taiwan, they're going to have to hit American bases, even in the homeland, because these are bases that can be used to generate and project firepower to protect Taiwan. So they know they're going to have to hit Guam, Tinian, and Saipan. That's American territory. Those are American citizens. We may not realize those Pacific Islanders are American citizens. They're American citizens. So, but also very likely Hawaii. People don't realize that Hawaii is a state of the union, and those are American citizens.
Right.
And also, but I've been saying this for years. Very likely, they're going to strike targets in the United States with missiles.
John, why is it? I mean, obviously, this general out there, he's coming on talking about this, the severity of it and all, but how come there's been no coverage of it at all? I mean, it's like crickets, total silence.
Doesn't fit the narrative for legacy lying media. They just don't care. They're too concerned with trying to save transgenderism, or making Trump a dictator, or Trump a king, or Trump a monarchist. I can't even keep track of it. They're just trying to come up with whatever terms stick. So they, legacy media is just lying and focused on trying to take down Trump. But for those who are mega minded, we need to be vigilant and aware of these things. This is not fear porn. And you got some of these people who they might be mega, but I would say there's also a lot of bot activity out there that is just Russian and Chinese bots stoking hate and discontent. They're saying zero war, no war. Well, I want zero war also. Okay. But guess what? The war really has started already. Now the Iran-Israel thing, I think I don't know. I'm not read onto the current intel. I don't know exactly what's going on. I think Israel is handling it fairly well. I don't see a compelling, urgent need for America to become involved. Now, Steve Bannon had lunch with President Trump today to talk about some of these matters, and President Trump has shown several different public-facing talking points. Iran has to surrender. We're going to go after the Ayatollah. To now today, he's talking about we're gonna wait. We're just gonna take a couple of weeks to come to the right position. And I don't see a compelling need for us to immediately take action. I think Israel is handling things just fine. There's all this talk about the deep penetrating GBU-57, which only RB-2 can carry and drop. That might be needed for it's Natanz and Fordo. I'm really, I don't, again, I'm not read onto the intel. I don't know if that would be decisive. Let's say we drop the bomb and it's not effective in destroying the underground facility. Then what? Let's say we drop it and it does destroy the underground facility, but the Ayatollah and they keep on fighting because China won't let them drop out. I can tell you right now, China is not going to let Iran, because they want Iran in the game. And they need that oil badly. They need that oil badly. They're building pipelines, but pipelines are 10 years away easily. So right now they have to ship it, and China needs that oil. Again, I looked at the numbers, almost 100% from Iran goes to China. China definitely needs that oil. It's all illegal. All that oil is sanctioned, but because of our undersized U.S. Navy, we don't have the resources to stop these ships. And so we got to get a bigger Navy. But I don't see a compelling need for us to swoop in at this point in time. I just don't see a compelling need. Israel's doing pretty darn good, and I mean, at worst case, we drop 4 or 6 or 8 of those GBU 57s on the loading dock and say, "Have at them. You guys figure out how to deliver them. We're not going to deliver them." And well, that's actually not out of the realm. I believe me. The Israelis are extremely innovative. If we give them the bomb, they'll figure out how to deliver it. But no, don't endanger a U.S. air crew or aircraft. You want the bomb? Here it is. You guys drop it. Figure it out. Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Oh, it's huge. They rely in the worldwide on the world on fire. So Iran has all these henchmen, these proxies. I also call them colonies. Russia's a colony. North Korea, Iran, Venezuela, South Africa, Pakistan. These are China's proxies. China wants to win without fighting, and they're using their proxies to conduct worldwide wars that are going on. We're at war right now. Everybody needs to get over this. I don't want a war, but guess what? The worldwide war is already ongoing. Let's get real. So we better arm up and keep it away from America. But Iran is their henchman in the Middle East. That's the Houthis, the Hamas, Houthis, and Hezbollah work for Iran. So Iran has its own proxies. Now, those 3 proxies, Hamas and Hezbollah, has essentially been disintegrated. The Houthis are degraded, but they're still around. But Iran has lost 2 of its 3 proxies, and Iran is getting hammered right now.
Well, what I heard today is Trump basically saying they had their chance. They're going to have to come crawling back to me. I'm not going to go out and reach out to them again. They're going to have to come crawling back to me to negotiate.
There's 3 types of gases in the body: oxygen, carbon dioxide, and nitric oxide. Cardio Miracle is your advanced formula nitric oxide booster and provides you essential support for increased vitamin D3 and blood flow and oxygen, cellular health and reproduction, improved cardiovascular health, enhanced energy and clarity, and it supercharges your sexual stamina. So start reclaiming your health today and increase your energy, stamina, and focus. Go to cardiomiracle.com, enter discount code GRIT. That's cardiomiracle.com, discount code GRIT. Take advantage of this awesome product and start feeling better today. cardiomiracle.com, discount code GRIT.
Yeah, they had their chance. Now, some people would say, well, Tulsi Gabbard at DNI says no nuclear activity. Now, I respect and I respect Tulsi and her crew immensely. Okay, and I trust them. Also, President Trump. I'm mega. Here's the problem with our own intel community. it has been so penetrated by Iranian sympathizers. I'm not sure we've. I know we have not been able to purge all these people. Like we had Rob Malley, Asif Rahman. We had numbers of other folks identified Biden appointees or intel people during the Biden era that were flat out spying for Iran inside the U.S. government. I mean, we have an Iranian spy problem inside our government, and we haven't purged it yet. And Tulsi's great. She has not purged it yet. So we have a huge. So the intel report that we had, Iran has no nuclear program. I'm sorry, I'm not sure I buy that right now because we have so many darn Iranian agents. This is all open source. This is all over the papers. People aren't connecting the dots.
Well, and I think they're playing a word game or a kind of a thought game because I forgot what it's called when they're purifying the uranium. They're doing it supposedly for energy purposes is what we're being told. They're not into the weapons production at this point. That's kind of what I heard today. But we don't know. We don't know exactly.
Yeah, well, I'm not a nuclear engineer, but they're pure. I mean, it's a different process for nuclear energy purposes. They're essentially going down the pathway. The enrichment is not the same thing for civilian peaceful use. So it's a lie. They've been lying this whole time. And my thesis has been, look, we've been saying Iran is on the one turn of the screw away from a nuclear warhead for 30 years. Okay, I think they're there. Now, if nothing else, they've gotten very, very unsafe, unreliable nuclear warheads from Pakistan and North Korea. I mean, I think, come on, 30 years? Are you kidding me? I mean, I would say they probably have a small number of very untrusted, very unsafe nuclear warheads already.
So, Darren, did you know that Iran, tell me if I'm wrong, Iran produces all kinds of missiles that are being supplied to all kinds of countries, including Ukraine. So if Iran falls, some of the military-industrial complex is going to suffer. Let's put it that way.
Oh, well, they supply them to Russia. They've been a huge supplier.
Oh, okay, so I got the wrong country. All right.
Yeah, they've been. But I see that's the problem. Is Russia needs that flow of weapons from China and Iran. Iran provides a huge number of drones to Russia. So I mean, Putin is kind of trying to play nice, but at the same time, he needs those Iranian drones and rockets and missiles.
John, I know you've been on our show multiple times, and I know the people that are listening on this particular episode, they're like, who is John Mills? I mean, how does he know what he's talking? I mean, he's just another guy that sits behind a computer and a microphone, writes a Substack, and wrote a book called The Nation Will Follow, which is pictured behind you on your shelf. Give our viewers and our listeners a little bit of background and credentials on you so that they will know that you're the real deal and you're not just disseminating fake news.
And you're not AI.
Well, I have to be honest. I actually am AI.
You're artificially intelligent.
I don't exist. I'm actually a hologram. So I first joined the military in 1983. I have 30 plus years of military service, plus 30 years of civil service as a senior official in the Department of Defense. Some of that was overlapping because of my reserve periods. So I mean, this is my life is doing this kind of stuff. I was the director of cybersecurity at the Office of Secretary of Defense, but doing these intel analysis daily for almost 40 years of my life.
Well, we appreciate it because you're closer to it by far than obviously we are or most of the press. So my last area that I want to touch on is with all we've said and this potential out in Edward Air Force Base, what do you see in your gut? Do you think that we're really going to ever see a strike in the United States?
Absolutely. I think we need to be realistic that
okay.
It's heading that direction rapidly. President Trump is trying to fire the deep staters, purge the deep staters, shrink government, secure the border, and deter China simultaneously. China's in desperate straits. I think, unfortunately, at this point in time, it's almost irreversible. And my thesis is we're already in World War III. We don't know. We just don't realize it. But I think missiles falling on U.S. territory in the near future are especially when China moves, and they will move on Taiwan. They know they have to provide covering fire to keep down U.S. forces in the Pacific and on the West Coast.
Well, they keep us so distracted, John, with so much other nonsense on the news, like you said at the beginning of the show, transgenderism and just all the craziness. Do you think our military and or our citizens of this country, Americans, do you think they're anywhere near ready for something like this?
No. I mean, we're trying to get ready. We got the right leadership in place, but we just got out of 4 years of an auto pen running the country and a bunch of psychos who their number one focus was transgenderism. They were we almost lost the country. So we're climbing out of a hole.
Right. So if it were to happen, do you think we'd be like tripping over our feet for a few days, a few weeks, trying to get our bearings and trying to figure out which way to go after this were to happen? Or do you think, would they be able to hit the ground running pretty quick after the first or second strike?
We're going to have to essentially go to a total mobilization of the United States for the war effort. I'm sorry. Everybody's going, I don't want any war. Well, I don't want any war either.
Amen.
But
sometimes you got to fight back.
Yeah.
and the more you sweat and build up deterrence, the less likely you will have war. So a lot of Omega people, they don't understand this concept. I don't want any war. Well, I don't want any war either. But President Trump also says we're going to have the biggest, best military in the world to make sure we don't fight wars. And that's what we're trying to get to, is the biggest, best military ever. We're climbing out of a hole where nobody wanted to join the military, poor recruiting and retention. Everything the Biden team was touching was just creating a disaster.
Turning to fecal matter very quick.
Yeah.
Well, John, thanks for coming on. I know you have a lot of shows you have to do. We want to get you on here and just have you give our viewers a quick summary of this whole this saga. But again, John Mills, author of The Nation Will Follow. John, what's one piece of advice you'd like to leave our viewers with today?
Pray and pass the ammunition. Let's get ready. Let's get focused. And we'll win, but get ready. We have the right leader in place, and ultimately we'll be victorious, but it's going to be rough.
Okay. I think that's a T-shirt he just left us with. Pray and pass the ammunition. Can we just use that and not give you credit, or do we have to give you credit to that?
I think somebody said one time invest in lead, so...
All right, John Mills, thank you so much, my friend, for being on here. We appreciate everything you're doing, and keep bringing truth to this great country.
All right. Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Randy.
Take care.
Thank you.
We'll see you.
See you.